Okay, our second presenter today is Caitlin Blundell with an organization called Action Coach. Please join me in welcoming Caitlin. She's been a business coach for several years, helping people organize and structure their companies for success and growth, and has been an associate member at ORAC for over 3 years. Caitlin is going to give us the lowdown on how she may be able to help streamline your business and maximize your potential. Come on up, Caitlin.
There we go. This is going to be something a little different because I don't know anything about HVAC. So no thermal controls here, no dynamics, no, it's all business. I always tell my clients it's a partnership. I don't know anything about their industry, but I know business. So they provide the industry knowledge, I provide the external perspective, a little bit of business knowledge, and together we grow the business. So thank you for being here. I'm excited to be here with you this afternoon to share dinner with you. I'm going to introduce myself a little bit more in just a moment, but can I get a sense of who I'm actually speaking with here? Can you put your hand up if you own your business? Owners, okay, awesome. Hand up if you work for somebody else. Okay, hand up if you own your business but wish you worked for somebody else. Just kidding. All right, so here we go. So this is me. My name is Caitlin. As you know, I'm a business coach with an organization called Action Coach. Action Coach is the world's largest and most impactful business coaching franchise. We have about 1,000 coaches in about 80 countries around the world. I'm pleased and honored to be the Action Coach in Mississauga, and I have colleagues in other parts of the province as well. I do what I do to help businesses grow because I think small businesses are terrifically important. Jim Collins described them as having a noble purpose, and I think that's really true, right? I think a good small business brings so much back, not just in terms of what it does for the owner, right? In terms of financial reward and work-life balance and personal and professional development. Also the owner's family, right? They get to reap the rewards. The employees of the business, right? If it's a great business and it has great employees, you better bet they're happier than they might be working for somebody else. In terms of impact to customers, right? To be a great small business out there, customer satisfaction is something that is really going to matter to keep that business afloat. So I see this ripple effect coming outwards from a healthy business, and that's why I do what I do, is to kind of create that ripple, right? And create a healthier Canadian economy, a healthier local economy through work with small businesses. You can see up on the slide, there's a few of those things that matter to me. I've got my kids up there. I always put them up there to remind me of work-life balance myself. My daughter told me a great joke the other day. Do you guys want to hear a joke? She goes, why did Cinderella never have any money? Because her coach was a pumpkin. It's terrible, eh? But they're good. They like what I do. They like seeing the success of the people I work with. And that the final picture there is my office down on Lakeshore in Port Credit. So that's where I'm based. All right, so I wanted to talk to you guys today about a really important metric in your business, which is this customer lifetime value. This is kind of the total amount of revenue a company can reasonably expect from a single customer account throughout the business relationship, right? So we're talking how much are they spending with you for how long, over what period of time. And it's a really important metric, right? Because what's the value of keeping your customers? Right? This matters? Yeah, huge. Yeah, thank you. For one thing, is it easier to sell to an existing customer or to someone who's never heard of you? Yeah, it's easier to sell to an existing customer than it is to acquire a new one. And then the research on this is clear. Acquisition is at least 5 times more expensive than retention. So does it pay to invest in customer retention? Yes. Yes, it does. This is also, it's important because you're also not wasting your dollars marketing to somebody who is never going to be a customer, right? If you have a large marketing budget, but you don't have a budget for customer retention, chances are you're out there spending money trying to meet with people, trying to talk to people who are never going to become a customer. Whereas if you're spending your money, spending your dollars, spending your hours marketing to people who are your current customers, then of course you know that they will buy from you. They potentially will buy from you because they have already. They already know you. They already like you. They already trust you. So customer lifetime value is a metric that gives you a ton of insight into your business and has a huge impact. The impact of one extra transaction per customer per year, the impact of them staying with you just a little bit longer than they otherwise would, can be huge. So Bain & Company did this study. They found out that a 5% increase in the retention rate can lead to a rise in profit between 25 and 95%. Significant. Another great stat is out of HubSpot. HubSpot is a CRM system that does a lot of research in this area. They found that of the growing companies that use their platform, the ones that are actively growing in terms of their revenue and their profitability, 55% found that it was very important, right, top of the response chart, very important to invest in their customer service programs, okay? Compared to companies with stagnant revenue or decreasing revenue, only 29% of those answered that was very important. So we can kind of see that the companies that are investing in retention and in customer satisfaction are growing, right? They're growing because this works. Okay, so 3 steps to talk about here. I've lost my page. First step is to define the standard. Who decides what the standard is for customer satisfaction at the company? Customer decides probably what they'd like it to be, maybe, based on their experience in the industry, right? They might not know. They might not have the same vision for the company that say, the owner does, the executive, the leadership team. So this is really something set from the top, right? We define our standards for customer satisfaction, customer care. And then what? Right? It's one thing to set a standard, right? To maybe decide in your own mind that you want things to be a certain way. How do you firmly set a standard for your team? Do you talk about it? Yeah, do you write it down? Most important is you need a way to measure it. Measure whether or not you're achieving that standard. There's that old adage goes, you manage what you measure, you can't manage what you don't measure. The one I always say is you can't grow what you don't know. If you don't know how satisfied your customers are, how do you change this, right? If you don't know whether your team is out there in the field kind of meeting your standard, then how do you know if it's affecting customer retention? So a big part of my work and that I do with my clients is kind of setting systems in place and setting processes in place to help us test and measure the important KPIs, the important criteria within the business. So we define the standard, we write it down, and of course we have to measure it. That's step 1. Step 2 is to add the wow, right? We don't want satisfied customers, right? We want wow. Because customers who have had a wow experience, what do? They talk about it, right? They go out there, they tell their friends, they tell their family. It's a great way to bring in that referral business. So we need to add the wow. Now, is it reasonable to think that a company, small, medium, large, wherever you're at now, is it reasonable to think that you can wow customers in every single element of the business, every single thing that you do? Probably not. Right? So the trick here is figuring out what are the core things that matter most to your customers, right? This comes back to knowing who that target audience is, knowing who your niche is, your target demographic, and figuring out what they really, really care about, right? If you can knock their socks off in 3 areas that they truly care about, are they going to talk about you? Yeah, right? Are they going to come back? Yeah. I love IKEA as an example of this. And that's because I hate IKEA. But IKEA is a great example of a company that really knows their target audience really well and has made a real decision and a real commitment to adding the wow, knocking their socks off in a couple of key areas. Okay? So IKEA knows their audience loves meatballs, yeah, that's it, right? Reasonably trendy furniture, right? For, again, knowing the target market, what they define as reasonably trendy. Does this demographic care about like great customer service? No. Does this target customer for IKEA, do they care that they have to go into the warehouse and literally pull their own stuff off the shelf? No. Do they care they have to take it home, fight with their partner over putting it together, risking, divorce or separation over building the stupid furniture? They don't care. They do it, right? Why do they keep going to IKEA? Well, it's reasonably trendy, it's reasonably low priced, and there's meatballs. 3 things that their core demographic truly cares about, and they knock it out of the park on those 3 things. So when I say add the wow, I don't mean, try and be exceptional in 10 or 12 things that you think your customers care about. What I mean is get to know your target audience. Try and find 3 things, 4 things that they really, truly care and will make or break their decision to do business with you. And if you can add the wow on those elements, they're going to talk about you, right? Are they going to come back? Yeah, how many people are repeat shoppers at IKEA? A lot, right? Until they get a better job. The third thing to consider is the system. It's one thing to do it once, right? It's one thing to knock their socks off once. But can you do it for every customer, every time? Well, not by accident, right? You need a process, you need a system, you need some attention, you need some management, some care, some money, right? So what is the system that enables you to make sure that every customer has a consistent experience and that like every time you stamp that stamp, it's about the same thing? So I'm going to talk about these in a little bit of detail, just a little bit. I'm not going to keep you here till you're ready for dinner. This is what I call the ladder of loyalty. And I think it's as we kind of talk about getting that customer for the very first time, there's some, we're moving them up the ladder. And then if we want them to keep coming back, then again, we're moving them up the ladder again. How many people climb ladders or have climbed ladders? From what I know about HVAC, the little I know is that there are a lot of ladders involved. So I wanted to make sure I brought the ladder slide. All right, so what's a suspect? If someone is a suspect in your business, absolutely, they might become a customer. If you've talked a little bit internally about who your target market is, right? Whether you're commercial, whether you're residential, whether you're targeting busy families or project site supervisors who have 100 things on the go, whoever that target demographic is, if somebody fits inside that demographic, they're a suspect, right? They have a chance of doing business with you. They become a prospect when they take some sort of action. They, in some sense, stick up their hand and say, hey, yeah, I'm potentially interested. So what is that? What does that look like for you? How does somebody stick up their hand and say, hey, talk to me, tell me a little bit more? They answer the phone. Sure. They hang up right away. When they give you... Accept a meeting, yeah. Love it, accept a meeting. There's an exchange of contact information. When you have permission to contact them, when they give you their details, they give you their phone number, their business card, whatever it is, that's that transition one step up the rung from suspect to prospect. The shopper has bought from you. Okay, that's that first transaction. It's a pretty key step, right? That's the first time they said, okay, I'll give this a try. Yeah, you might be able to solve my problem. You might be able to help me out. Let's give it a try. My definition of a customer comes with the second purchase. If they like you enough to come back one time, at that point, you can call them a customer, right? The shopper maybe is shopping around a little bit. The customer, if they've stuck with you twice, then they're a customer. But the ladder doesn't end there, right? The ladder doesn't end when they become a customer, because isn't it possible for them to keep climbing the ladder, right? They could become a member. I don't know if you guys have memberships anywhere. I'm a member of a wine club. It's great. They send me something every month. I never even have to shop with them. They just send it, right? So there's this level of membership where maybe, they have a little bit of your merch, your company swag. They're proud to carry you on their keychain because they are so happy to be associated with you, affiliated with you, right? An advocate, what does an advocate do? They recommend you, yeah. Yeah, they're telling other people about you. Hey, I had the best experience. These guys, they came so fast. They fixed my problem like that. And it was just done. You really ought to give them a call, right? So an advocate is out there telling other people in their network about you. And then the top level is where the money is. A raving fan is out there doing your selling for you. Okay? Do you have any raving fans in your business? Yeah, what's the value of a raving fan? Massive? Yeah. They're maybe not just bringing in one referral, they're bringing you like a consistent stream of referrals. So how do we treat these people, these raving fans? Do they get the same treatment as every other customer? No, right? We get something a little special, right? A little white glove treatment for those guys. Okay, so let's talk about the bottom of this ladder, right? If somebody is moving from a prospect to a shopper, do you guys remember what that is? That's that first purchase, right? Purchase number one. What are they thinking about? Five things that customers consider when they're thinking about doing business with you. Price. Somebody say it louder at the back. Price! Yeah, price is a factor, right? I'm not going to stand up here in front of you and say that price is never going to be a factor or that price shouldn't be a factor, right? We deal with budgets. Our customers deal with budgets. We deal with budgets. Of course, it's a factor. My belief is that price should never be the only factor. Okay? This is about what value do you provide? What other factors should they consider other than price? And if you can kind of get your salespeople and get that conversation talking about value rather than price, even those price-sensitive customers, I bet, have at least one other thing that they care about other than price. Sorry? Stability, yeah. Consistency? Knowledge, yeah, love that. Trust, yeah. Sorry, there's two there. Sales support? And convenience, speed of service, ease of service. Sorry? Availability. So there's lots, right? There's lots beside price that people care about. Do I like this person? Do we do business with people we don't really like? No, right? If the sales guy is kind of an asshole, are we going to feel good about doing business with that guy? Probably not in most industries. So who's the person in this scenario? Is this the owner that they need to like? Salesperson? Yeah. Technician. How important is having well-trained, likable technicians who are out there in the field, right? Building this know, like, and trust. Like it or not, the technicians have a lot of power in this equation. Do I like the company, right? Do I like what they stand for? Do I understand what they stand for, right? Are they out here because they want me to succeed? Are they out here because they want to help me solve my problem? Or is this a fly-by-night company is trying to make a quick buck, right? Do I like this person? Do I like this company? You guys nailed this one, like the value, right? Am I getting good value for the money that I'm exchanging for the service? Price and timing, right? Convenience. You guys shouted out a few more. These are all considerations, and I think they kind of fall into these buckets, right? When we're talking about things like, is it convenient? Is it reliable? Is there good service support? Is it easy to buy? This kind of comes down to value, timing, like the person, like the company, right? It all kind of fits together. So that's kind of that moving from prospect to suspect to prospect to shopper. Once they've bought with you once, now we can talk about customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction is a hard thing to sell on when somebody has never done business with you, right? It's hard to say, hey, yeah, all of our customers are satisfied, and the person might be standing there going, okay, well, that's great, but they're not me, right? Can you solve my problem? Are you going to help me? But once they've done business with you, then we get into the metrics of customer satisfaction. It's important to have satisfied customers. Right? If we don't have satisfied customers, then they might be out there, leaving a poor review or telling people not to do business with you, right? The opposite of the raving fan. So customer satisfaction is an incredibly important metric. It's also more and more the cost of doing business. Like this is table stakes. Because there's a lot of companies who offer pretty good customer satisfaction, right? It's something that's kind of universally acknowledged to be important. And there's lots of people out there saying, hey, we have great customer satisfaction, we have the best customer satisfaction, which again makes it hard to stand out and be unique before somebody actually experiences the customer service themselves. If we're talking about adding the wow, right, finding those few key areas and finding the wow factor, we're moving from customer satisfaction to what I call customer delight, right? And a delighted customer is the one who's going up the ladder, right? Now they're doing their selling for you. So how do we move from satisfied to delighted? There's some key moments here, right? Some key moments in the process of doing business. How important is the first experience, right? The first onboarding or the first time the technician visits the site. Yeah, pretty important. Yeah, with most companies we find that first exchange is pretty critical, right? If you can delight them there, they're more likely to stay delighted. And if they're not delighted there, it's going to be a lot harder to bring them back up to that bar. So we can talk here about what I call CNEs. Have you guys heard of CNEs? Not the exhibition. A CNE stands for a critical non-essential. Okay, so a critical non-essential. This is something that they're not expecting. Something that if you didn't provide it, they wouldn't notice. They wouldn't miss it, they wouldn't know it was gone. But when it is there, it knocks their socks off, right? It wows them. Sorry? Meatballs. Do you deliver meatballs to your customers?
I'm hungry, I missed lunch.
I think they have some snacks. Yeah. All right, so these are the things that go above and beyond. And they can be really creative and really innovative. And they don't need to be big ticket items. This can be as simple as something like a handwritten card. Right? Really appreciated that, really appreciate your business. Right? A handwritten card goes a pretty long way in most people. Cannoli? Yeah, man, if you bring me cannoli, I'll do business with you. Yeah. Do you do cannoli for your customers?
Yeah, I bring one.
Nice. And then it becomes kind of part of your thing, right? You become known a little bit for it. So the first time you do business with somebody, you have this opportunity to take them from customer satisfaction to customer delight, right? As well as the general service that you're going to provide to anybody no matter what. What's one thing that you can do that they weren't expecting that takes them to that delight, that wow, right? Maybe this is a little gift, for example, right? A little freebie. Maybe it's a premium offering, right? You signed up at this level, but we actually, because you're a new customer, thank you so much for coming on board, we've upgraded you. Maybe this is something that you can under-promise and over-deliver, right? If you promise you're going to be there within a set time frame and you're there much faster, right? That can create that little bit of wow. See what I mean? How they're not necessarily expecting it, but when it happens, it's memorable. Is there anything else? I heard cannolis. Any other examples from the floor?
Holiday gifts.
Holiday gifts, yeah. Yeah, we're coming up to the holidays, right? So for all customers, it's nice to have a little gift. For those customers at the top of the ladder who are out there being your advocates and being your raving fans, maybe it's time to think about like a nice gift, right? Something that reflects their value to your company. These are things that can often feel like a surprise to the customer. Should they be a surprise to you? No, right? Maybe it's on their 4th service, they get a little add-on item. It's a surprise to them. But for you, as management, as ownership, as leaders in your company, it's something that you have baked into your system, right? So that you can do this consistently for every customer every time. Okay, so there's the nice idea of kind of surprising them, of wowing them. But on your end, this is probably something that has been thought out, done in some intention behind it, planned. You've got something in place to test and measure it. You've got some accountability in place so that it's somebody's job and they make sure it happens. Right? So it's a surprise for the customer, it's not a surprise for the company. So this is my acronym for system. Do you guys know what a system is? Who feels like your business has pretty good systems? Reliable, yeah. Company could grow 5%, 10%, wouldn't start to feel that pain. If your hand's not up, then like, let's talk, because this is how I can help you. So my definition of a system is anything that saves yourself stress, time, energy, or money, right? So that you're not making it up as you go along. You're not constantly running around, putting out fires, flying the seat of your pants. It's something that makes you proactive rather than being in that reactive mode. So systems in the business are important across many functions of the business, but we're talking specifically around this idea of customer satisfaction, customer delight, customer retention. Maybe you give them a call out of the blue in week 5 after their first service. Or maybe it's 2 days after their first service, somebody drops by to check in, right? So whatever that system is, having it documented on your end, having clear expectations, clear measurements. And this is why, right? Because these moments of wow, they're nice, right? They feel good. It's nice when our customers like us, but it is growth. How many of us are loving dealing with finances in the business? So everybody kind of reflecting on your own business, have some opportunity to have a better understanding of your finances than you currently do. Yeah, most business owners, right? Most business owners have some level of understanding of finances that they could achieve that would help them better understand what's happening in their business. And this is where we start. For me, this is the kind of the core KPIs of the business. And there's 5, and they work together in a formula. The first number you need to know is how many leads are coming in. Okay, so if you're not currently tracking and measuring how many leads are coming into your business, this is an easy opportunity for a win. And I'll tell you why. Because as you start tracking them, you kind of just start noticing like what's working and what's not working, right? Who's giving you referrals, right? Who are those customers that maybe could go from an advocate to a raving fan, right? With a little care and attention. How effective is that social media ad? Right? How many leads are coming in through your website? Where are they coming from? As you start measuring where the leads are coming from, we kind of notice what works and naturally kind of do more of it. And so we see an increase in the number of leads, right? The nice thing about these kind of moments of wow is, of course, as you build customer delight, as you build in moments of wow, are you going to get more leads? Yeah, because people are out there talking about you, right? Delighted customers refer, delighted customers talk. Delighted customers post on their social media, oh my gosh, this company knocked my socks off, right? They knocked me out of the water. But of course, we don't just care about the number of leads, we care about how many of them do business with you, right? How many sales? So we look at your conversion rate. So if 10 people call the office, 2 of them actually make a purchase, then the conversion rate is 20%. Okay? So as well as tracking the number of leads, we also want to track the conversion rate. Leads coming from trusted referrals, do you think they convert at a higher rate or lower rate than leads coming in cold? Yeah, higher. Yeah, of course they do. Because there's a trust, right? An aura of trust that extends to you. Somebody that they trust trusts you. So the number of leads times the conversion rate will give us a number of customers. And we usually look at this equation over a time frame, right? It could be a quarter, it could be a year, whatever works for you. Then, of course, we look at how many transactions, on average, each customer is doing with you. And again, if your average number of transactions is 5, and you have an opportunity to tweak your systems a little bit, to do something that you do now well, more consistently, and you can increase that 5 to a 5.5, what's the value of that to your business, right? If every customer came back just a little bit longer, just one more time over the course of a year, what's the value of that to the business? We also look at how much they are spending on average. Okay? On average, some of our customers probably spend a little. Some of them might spend a lot. But this is a number that we want to see tracking upwards, right? We want to see premium clients coming on board, premium customers, bigger sites, bigger contracts. And as those get bigger, of course, so does the profitability of the business. So the number of customers times the number of transactions times the average value of a sale gives us revenue. Yeah? We don't stop here. There's a saying in business that revenue is vanity and profit is sanity, right? So we also look at the margins. Because growing top-line revenue is great, but if your expenses are going up at the same time, then you're not necessarily keeping any more money at the end of the day. So we multiply by the profit margins to get the profit. Is everybody looking up here? Is there something that you could see an opportunity to increase profit? If one of these numbers were to increase a little bit, the profit would go up, right? Often I put the slide up with some math. I didn't bring my math today, so I'll just give you the punchline, which is that if each of these numbers increases by 10%, right? So if you have 1,000 leads in a year, you go up to 1,100 leads in a year. If your conversion rate is 20%, you go up to 22%, right? We're increasing 10%, just 10%, which is usually a rate that is digestible, right, to the business owner, to the business. It's nice to go out and say, okay, we're going to double this, we're going to triple this. The fact is a business can die of indigestion just as easily as it can die of starvation, right? We don't want to get to a point where we're so many leads, so many new customers coming in that you can't provide the service or that you're not able to execute on what you say you're going to do, okay? So we look at a 10% growth in each of these areas. 10% more leads, converting at a 10% higher rate, right? We're training the sales team, we're maybe training the technicians out there in the field, face of the company, how can we get people to know and like them more? Hitting that database, asking people for their business, what else can we do for you? Do you know everything we offer, right? Number of transactions goes up. Average value, sure, with a little attention to that, a little intentionality, a few key strategies, yeah, it can grow 10% over the course of a year. And profit margins, right? Are you paying for something now that you don't need to pay for, right? Maybe we can knock that out. Are you regularly discounting your prices? Because you've got so many people calling you up saying, hey, what do you charge? Hey, what do you charge? And they're not having that conversation about value, right, rather than price. So if you're offering discounts quite often, then again, maybe there's some training there, some work we can do there. If you stop giving away a 10% discount, guess what? You're 10% better. So a 10% increase across each of these 5 things in blue will result in 61% increased profits for the company year over year. So if your company had 61% increased profit in November of 2023, are you happier? It doesn't have to be a huge, incredible, mammoth effort, right? Sometimes it's a question of finding a few tweaks, a few nuances, and doing a few things consistently well over the year, and that growth is possible. How are we doing for time? Are we okay? Stretch it out if I like. When people jump off the ladder, right? When they decide not to come back, why is that? Sometimes.
They no longer exist.
Okay, sure, yeah, they go out of business. Sometimes that happens. 1% die. 3% move away, go out of business. 5% buy from a friend, right? They know somebody who's coming into the business, they buy from a friend. 9% get sold, right? One of your competitors goes in, takes them out for coffee, brings them a cannoli. They get sold. 14% have something that they go out, they have a issue with the product, they have an issue with the price, they go out shopping, they find something that better suits them. 68% stop doing business with you because of your perceived indifference to them. They believe that you don't care and that they're not important. There's no wow, right? And the fact is that there are businesses out there that are a joy to do business with, right? I have businesses that I go back to time and time again because they are an absolute delight. It's a quality product, a quality service, a great sales experience, great support. I don't mind paying any amount of money because, well, within reason, because it's wonderful, right? But the vast majority of companies are not like that. The vast majority of companies make their customers feel, okay, yeah, you did what you said you'd do, it was okay, right? But you don't really care about me, you're not out there trying to win my business. Once I've come on board, you guys have this with the banks? Like they do anything to get you on board, and then as soon as you're a customer, they forget about you, right? Companies do this too, all the time. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Cell phone people? Yeah. Yeah, and how loyal are you to your cell phone provider? Are they a joy to do business with? No. If they are, I want to know who it is. All right, so this is what I want to leave you with, is the majority of business owners do believe their customer service is above average. This is like that stat that 93% of American drivers think their driving is above average. The vast majority of business owners believe their customer service is above average, right? Compared to others in their industry, compared to their competitors. We all can't be above average. So what does this tell us, right? It's human nature to overstate our strength as it compares to other people. So it's always worth asking the question, right? Ask the customer. Listen to the customer. If there is one thing we could have done better, what would that be? If they feel heard, if they feel understood, if they feel valued, are they more likely to stay on with you? Yeah. So if there was one thing we could have done better, what would it have been? It's a really important question. So I hope everybody picked up something that they can use today. I hope you picked up some opportunity in the 5 ways or some sort of system, some idea for a moment of wow, moment of delight. I hope everybody is taking away something that they can put into action, right? And they can build a better business for themselves, better business for their team, better business for their customers. Like I said, that's what I love about my job. That's why I do this work. I truly believe that is the most important thing. So if that's you, right, if you picked up some tips, some ideas, you can use them right away. Take them away, use them, that's great. I'd love to see it in the field. If you got something out of this and you feel like going over and leaving me a Google review, that is, you guys know business, right? It's one of the most important things you can do for the growth of my business. So I appreciate that compliment, the highest order. But I also have an offer, because I know there's some of you who are sitting there thinking, okay, well, this is good information, but it's not what you know, it's what you do with what you know, right? So if you're curious about what it might be like to work with a business coach, I'd love to offer you a free coaching session. Okay, in my mind, that's the best way to get started, for you to learn a little bit more about how I can help you, and for me to see, a deeper insight into your business, your unique situation. And if I have any kind of tips or strategies that can get you on your way, happy to provide those. So it's absolutely no strings attached, no obligation, but my guarantee is that it will be a really good use of your time. Okay, so if that's you, if you'd like to. If you're curious about working with a coach, I'm going to be here. I've got a piece of paper that you can kind of note down your key information, and I'll take it away, and we'll get things rolling. But thank you so much for having me here today. Yeah. Any questions? going to grab a sip of water. Is this useful content for ORAC? You guys can take some of this away, can work it into your business. Cool. This guy's a contractor. He's not in the HVAC industry, but I've greatly enjoyed working with him, and as he says, he's improved productivity, optimized key processes, and improved profitability. That's a great result for me. Typically, my clients come with a desire to have better results in 3 areas. The first is time. Okay, they want more time away from the business. They are working long weeks. They are constantly busy, but they're not sure they're productive. They want more time with their family, more time on the golf course, just maybe a vacation, maybe even just a weekend off. So I had one guy who I had been working with, and he said, I just want to have dinner with my family, right? I just want to have dinner with my family every single night. And if I can do that, I'm happy. So time is a big one. Team, right? How do you recruit the right people to your business who are going to be out there on the front lines, selling your customers, right? Bringing them back, giving them good service. How do you recruit the right salespeople to your company? And once you've got them, how do you retain them, right? How do you build a culture that rewards them? How do you allow them to take reasonable risks? How do you allow them to climb a ladder if they're ambitious? So team, core values, vision, that stuff. And money. Like, shockingly, a lot of people want to make more money, right? So that's what we do, right? We go up and down the 5 ways. I get them active in the business, testing and measuring in each of those 5 areas, as well as any others that we identify that are critical for their success. And they gain a better understanding of their financials. We actually look at their profit and loss. We actually look at their balance sheet and use it to make better decisions in the business. And guess what? Yeah, they become more profitable. So I offer a guarantee in my business, by the way. So with Action Coach, it's the 17-week coaching guarantee, which is that if we were to work together for 17 weeks, I guarantee to have at least found my fee in your business, because to me, that's the floor. Nobody hires a coach because they want another item on their expense line. They want more profit, right? They want more revenue. So my guarantee is that if we work together in a one-on-one, weekly, bi-weekly capacity, I will at least have found my fee, in the first quarter that we work together, and then we'll continue to grow from there, right? So we look for those quick wins, quick results. That's industry agnostic. Some industries have some really quick wins, right? As we start looking for these consistent performance indicators. Have to spend with me. Thanks. So typically for one-on-one clients, we coach either weekly, an hour a week, or bi-weekly, an hour every 2 weeks. Can we build a better business in an hour every 2 weeks? No. There's work to be done on their behalf, in the business, on the business. So kind of we align on key strategies and action items, and then they go and execute on those before coming back to me again. Yeah.
Caitlin, what resources do you bring to this night besides yourself?
Resources that I bring beside myself? Sure. So Action Coach has been in business coaching since the early 90s. It was launched in Australia in the early 90s, has since grown to over 80 countries around the world. As a collective, we coach over 100,000 businesses every single week. The result of all of that is a suite of tools, resources, best practices, ideas that are available to my clients. Obviously not all at once. That would be overwhelming, but we look at what you need, and I kind of open up the database, open up the resource base to the owner. So things like specific tools to use to track performance, things like employee performance resources, everything you need, right? Everything you need to run a successful business is somewhere in the Action Coach toolbox. As well as that, you're not only getting me, right? You're getting 1,000 other coaches as well. So if there's ever something that I feel like I can't answer or I don't have a quick answer to, then I turn around to my community anonymously, right, and get the best answer for you. The final thing I'll mention is around business planning. How important is it to have a business plan? Very, thank you, yeah. How many people actually look at their business plan? No one, right? 1%, 0.1%. So most of the time when people start a business, they make a business plan. It's kind of a 3 to 5 year plan. It's in a nice binder. You know, you take it to the bank. You're like, look at this, I got a plan, right? And then it gets filed. It sits on a shelf. It sits in the computer. It's no longer relevant in the day-to-day operations of the business. So with my clients, that's not what we do. I don't do a 5-year business plan. I don't do a 1-year business plan. We do a 90-day action plan. We get together each and every quarter with my community, right, with my client community, and we talk about where are you trying to go, right? Sure, where's the vision? Where do you want the business to be in a year? All that good stuff. And then we work back to like, okay, what are the core key actions, the key milestones for right now, right, for the quarter ahead? So my clients have an 11 by 17. It's on the wall, it's in front of them, it's on their desktop, and they know exactly week by week what they need to be doing to grow their revenue, to grow their profit, to grow their team, to have more impact, to have happy customers. So it's a really effective planning process as well.
How do you see the relationship of customer satisfaction versus customer?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the last word. Okay, so how do you see the relationship between customer satisfaction and customer loyalty?
Just overall, how do you see it? You know, it's probably different for everybody's industry. It's kind of like customer satisfaction is pushed out here, customer loyalty is there's a lot of factors out there. Do you see that changing in the general business area?
I think the relationship with the customer is critical, right? So the loyalty of the customer to you is built, like that retention, the referrals, that comes from 2 things, right? From the results that you get and from your relationship with that customer. So results times relationship equals retention plus referral, I think is the formula. I have a slide on another deck. But that's it, right? So customer loyalty to you, well, are you loyal to the customer, right? Do you call them out of the blue? Do you know their first name? Does your salespeople, if they call up, are they waiting on hold for an hour to speak to somebody, right? So is that relationship working on both? Without customer satisfaction, you're not going to have customer loyalty. So yes, strengthening customer loyalty builds retention, builds loyalty. But you need the communication, right? You need that relationship of trust, and that's where the loyalty will come.
Find some companies suffer from the loyalty being to the specific employee that the customer deals with, but if that employee leaves, so does the customer.
It's a good question. One way around that is training, right, for those frontline employees who are out there interacting with the customers, so that there isn't a big difference between one and another. Any company that is built in any capacity on the performance of a superstar is at risk, right? Because that superstar might leave. So we don't necessarily want to rely on a superstar. We want to create the conditions where any employee can behave like a superstar. So that could be something like, you know, does every frontline employee have a $50 a month budget to do something nice for their customers, right? Upgrade their filters, I don't know HVAC, or you bring them a gift, to bring them a cannoli, right? If everybody has the same amount of money and is encouraged to behave in the same way, you've created the conditions where every tech within the company can have the same kind of great relationship with customers. And then, yeah, if somebody leaves, do you have the processes in place to make sure that your customer satisfaction on your end doesn't dip, right? If you've got that one person with key relationships and they leave, who's the person stepping into their shoes? And are they equipped and are they trained to build that relationship and to probably try and build it pretty quickly? You can't guard against it completely, but you can certainly do things to optimize results. You guys are great. These are good questions. Is there any other questions I can answer from here? Otherwise, I think the last guy finished his presentation and said, "Come find me at the bar." I'll be next to him. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Token of our appreciation,
Oh, thank you.
take with you.
Oh my gosh, I need more hands here.
Don't drink it in the car.
Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right. Thank you.